Hey, I'm Dr. SCL. I'm a dad, a chiropractor, and the translator you didn't know you needed in this, the first year of parenting. This is Decoded, the first year, the podcast that turns baby brain confusion, mum burnout, and milestone panic into clarity you can actually use. Let's make sense of the chaos by decoding it together. Hey, welcome back to Decoded, the first year. I'm Dr. SCL, chiropractor, dad, nervous system decoder. And today we're tackling the motivation and emotion behind every question I get from parents. They will sound something like, is this normal? Should I be worried? Or am I just overthinking it? In other words, this episode is all about how to decode baby development without the Google spiral. So whether it be a movement, habit, or something you just feel is off, this episode will help you trust your instincts without spiraling. Because in truth, most parents are not overreacting. They just need some better tools or a better lens through which to interpret what they are seeing. So let's reframe worry first. Worry is not weakness. It is awareness. It means you are watching closely and your gut is tuned into something that maybe doesn't look wrong on paper, but ultimately doesn't feel right either. And honestly, that gut feeling is usually more accurate than any development or milestone chart out there. Because you, as the parent, are the expert on your baby. You're watching them every day. You know what's typical for them every day. So when something feels off, you don't need to panic, but you should be curious enough to pay closer attention. So here's a list in no particular order of some of the common signs I see in the office that don't scream emergency, but will definitely tell us that the nervous system may just need some extra support. Number 1, asymmetry. You would have heard me say this buckets. That would be favoring one side, always rolling one way, one arm tucked or dominant too early. Any movement pattern that doesn't have balance left to right in particular, but also at times front to back or top to bottom, is an indicator that the body is under some form of neurological stress. Number 2, avoidance. That baby that just refuses tummy time, refuses to sit, or literally cries the moment you place them on the floor. This is not just a behavior. This is an indicator. This is a communication channel to say something's not right. Tied into this would commonly be the overreaction. Now, this might be the easily startled, the super sensitive to noise, touch, or it takes ages for the child to regulate themselves enough to calm down. Number 4, feeding challenges. Now, this comes in all shapes and sizes, from the arching, the shaking of the head, the popping off, the falling asleep, the preference to one side. And the final issue, and this issue alone is a whole season worth of podcasting, and that's potential tongue function and the complications that come with that. And finally, in particular, movement struggles. So again, tying back into the asymmetry, tying back into the avoidance, tying back into the overreaction, it's like all of this stuff is all connected. None of these mean that there's something necessarily wrong, but they definitely mean something is happening under the surface that warrants deeper levels of investigation. So when a parent brings their baby in to see me and says, I just feel like something's off, I take that very seriously because, as we've mentioned, the parent is the expert. So when I'm assessing them with my neurospinal check, I'm looking at primitive reflexes, which we've touched on before, and asking, Are they integrated or are they still dominating? I look at spinal alignment and quality of movement. In other words, is there tension that is restricting movement, making things uncomfortable, or generally creating interference to the way that nervous system works? I'm looking at the regulation of the nervous system. In particular, is their little system stuck in that stress, that fight or flight situation? And then finally, I look at movement and its quality more than quantity. And it's more than just if they can roll or crawl, but it's diving into how they achieve those things. It's through this level of investigation that gives us a full picture. So we're not guessing and you're not leaving here Googling every symptom at 11 p.m. So when you notice something, when your gut says something, should you be worried? Maybe. But worry is not the enemy. It is simply an indicator or a signal. And if you've noticed something that doesn't feel right, you don't have to wait for things to get worse to ask for help. The goal isn't to jump to labels or chase milestones or timings based on charts. It's to understand what your baby's nervous system is asking for and respond to that with clarity, not fear. If this episode helped you trust your gut just that little bit more, share it with a parent who's stuck in that wait and see loop or is still recovering from their latest Google spiral. And if you want more tools to decode your baby's signs, send me a DM on Instagram at Mount Hawthorn Chiropractic, and I will happily share with you my baby milestone decoder, developed for this exact reason, to provide some answers and clarity. And just as a hot tip, in the next episode, I'm going to dive into the why, the how, and the what to do next with that baby milestone decoder. Until then, this is Decoded, the first year. I'm Dr. SCL, out. Thanks for listening to Decoded, the first year, where we translate the mess of early parenting into something that actually makes sense. Be sure to share this episode with a friend, a partner, or a mum that you know who is quietly struggling through the noise and secretly Googling every milestone. If you want to hear more decoding, follow at Mount Hawthorn Chiropractic on the socials. Let's keep decoding the chaos. No mansplaining, no pressure, no judgment, just clarity when you need it most. Please note, this podcast isn't medical advice. It's just smart strategies from a Gonstead chiropractor, a dad, and someone who's been in the room with hundreds of mums trying to make sense of their baby's development, their own postpartum recovery, and the constant noise that comes with modern parenting. Always chat with your health team for specific care.